We're live.
Yes, sirree, Bob. Boop, boop, boop. I'll hit the record over there. I'll trim off the front.
Word. How's the internet looking?
So far, so good.
How am I looking?
So far, so shit. Oh, man. Here we go. It's begun, man. It is begun. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, coming to you live here from the Flipping Made Easy studio in Matawan, New Jersey. Your host tonight, Sturch and Gooch. AJ got called into work to make those big bucks at Jersey Mike's, and he's got to go make some sandwiches. We got two comments back to back, probably same troll to start the show, and it's, what time do the Yankees play tonight? So it's either A, Boston fan, B, disgruntled, bitter, shitty Mets fan, you know, because they can't really do anything or say anything. But it's probably one or the other, right?
Today is one of those days where you wake up and you question everything about your existence. Getting eliminated by the
Hello,
Red Sox
darkness, my old friend.
is a tough pill to swallow for me.
Dude, all right, first of all,
not having a good start today.
No, not at all. First of all, thank you to those who joined us yesterday from the studio. We had a nice little time over here, despite the shit performance by the New York Yankees. As their season is over, it is all over relatively quick. This is exactly why I don't like these stupid one-game playoff thingies, where already the first thing I hear on the radio today is how they're going to switch it up to a 3-game series next year, right? So it's like, oh, cool, you know, and like this one game shit.
How great would you
sucks.
feel? How great would you feel about their chances if they had to just go play 2 more games?
I mean, Garrett Cole just, you know, shit the bed. That happens, right? Like that kind of stuff happens. It shouldn't have happened last night because he's your $300 million pitcher, but you know, it gives you a chance to bounce back. At least.
I read somewhere that someone said he was injured. He shouldn't have been out there.
Oh God,
give me a fucking break.
Come on,
if
bro.
he was that injured, he wouldn't have been out.
Come on. Yeah, his post game interview was real enticing. By the way, I'm sick to my stomach. Like, dude, we get it. Like, you sucked, right? You absolutely did not have your stuff at all. Like, at all. You know, and it's like, I don't know,
he did.
man.
He had his stuff. That's about what he did all fucking year. He had like 3 good starts. His ERA was like 5 flat.
I think his best game was the one we had our opening party. We were at
against
McDonald's
the Astros, right
against
before
the
All-Star
Astros,
break.
right? That was his. Oh, like, oh, there he is.
And then you know what we did right out of the break? We came out and got spanked by Boston 4 in a row. I think.
Yep.
Right? Is that what happened?
That's exactly what happened.
And then we turned it up. But any one of those 4 games, I'm not going to sit here and talk about we should have done this, you should have done that all season long to get that home game. But Giancarlo's fucking bombs that he hit.
He would have hit 3 home runs anywhere else.
I called it yesterday. I said he hits 2 bombs tonight.
And he did. He did. He absolutely did. He hit 3.
But at the same time, he didn't.
Only one
So,
counted.
I'm so bitter right now.
You know what it is? It's like that's the guy that the Yankee fans in unison were almost chasing out of town. And he's the only one who showed up. He's the only one who was knocking the snot out of the ball. You know what I mean? Like everybody else couldn't hit. And this is an all year thing. You know, every year we say the same thing when the Yankees are knocked out. It's we gotta learn how to manufacture runs. We gotta learn how to play small ball. We gotta learn how to not rely on the long ball, right? We say it every year, bro.
I would love to hit some fucking home runs right about now. The Yankees haven't hit at all.
They haven't hit shit, right? It's not even putting the ball in play. They're not doing anything.
A lot of questions now that the season is over. It was a fun season, up and down. You got to see a little bit of what some of these players are made of. And then you got to see guys like LeMahieu shit the bed after getting paid, and now you have to wonder what he's actually made of. But there's a lot of questions going into the offseason, obviously, starting with Aaron Boone. We're going to get to that a little bit later, but Rizzo, Gallo, these guys they're on the final year of their deals, right? Or
these are all rent the players.
A lot of situations that need to be figured out with the Yankees lineup, their pitching staff. I don't know if they're planning on spending any money.
Well, if George was alive, this shit wouldn't be going down. If George was alive, there would be no, hey, we got to stay under this luxury tax thing. We don't want to go too high over this thing. We don't want to get taxed for this. But George would be like, I don't give a flying shit. Put the guys on the field that are going to win me some championships.
And you see the team the Dodgers are doing that, and they're out there in the same situation that we were.
Well, that's a little bit even more like gut wrenching. They won 106
and
games.
They're playing the hottest team in baseball.
They won 106 games, and now their season is up to 1 game. That is,
I think they won
hot
did they win
malarkey.
106.
Like 106 and lost the division.
I thought it was 104.
No, 106. I looked at it
Was
this morning.
the Giants 107?
I guess, yeah, they won by 1. Yeah. So, but it's like, are you kidding? That's where we're at. You know, like it's just. Listen,
Look,
I don't want to pin this on you, but you asked for this shit.
No, I didn't.
You asked for Boston.
didn't.
You wanted this shit, and now look at us now. Look at us now,
Dave.
Season's
I'll say
over.
it again. I stand by wanting Boston. It hurts a little bit more, but the fuck, man, we kind of own them down the stretch this season. I like knocking out the rival, just like they like knocking out us. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and fucking hide behind my comments. The Yankees should have beaten Boston. They're the better team, in my opinion. Right? They played better all season long, outside of the first half. So they didn't play better all season long. I'm trying to rectify or justify my comments, but really, it's a 1-game playoff. I wanted Boston. I'm standing behind it. Dave, fuck you. I said it.
Appreciate you. But and then another thing, my brother texted me as soon as the game.
I know.
He's like, hey, remember that time that Gooch said that Cole was going 8 innings last night?
Another. Yeah, you're right. I should have predicted that he's going to go 3 and get shelled.
Yeah, you would have looked a lot better this morning.
And he didn't tap out. He did not tap out.
No, there was no tapping out. According to everybody else who saw Cole apparently say like, I'm done or
the
get
guys
me
that
out.
felt the need to inject the Jacob deGrom conversation into the Yankees.
Stop.
Come on, bro.
Stop. The people that are listen. There's no debate to me.
When's his surgery, by the way?
Right, exactly. Well, the mechanics, pound for pound, Jacob deGrom is probably the better pitcher, and I'm not gonna.
Probably he's the better pitcher.
He's the better pitcher.
I have no problem.
Right, and I have no problems. Right, I have no problem admitting that shit. Right, but Jacob deGrom was nowhere to be found the last month of the season, and Jacob deGrom's team completely imploded. So for Mets fans to take slights and jabs at Yankee fans right now is very silly, and it makes you look bitter and dumb. It makes you look dumb. There's no other way. I'm trying to be nice about it, but it's like enough, dude. There's no weight behind your comments, is what I'm saying.
It's okay to make a jab because that's what makes the rivalry fun. But when you try and now do a comparison between two players that have nothing to do with each other, in reality, like they're just, they
it's
both
like the Giants and Jets fans going at each other. It's like, what's the point?
It's what certain fans do, and this is why I fucking hate Met fans.
I don't hate Met fans. I hate those Mets fans.
Well,
like,
that's true. That's
true. Like I don't hate all Mets fans. Mets fans are just as like guys like on our network in particular. Ibby's a great Mets fan. You know what I mean? He knows when his team.
The Mets stink.
He knows when his team stinks. He'll tell you when his team stinks. And they're recording another podcast today in which they're going to put a bow on their season. But if they take any jabs at the Yankees, well, then you're out. Just tread lightly, Ibby. All right. So don't be that guy. But like, look, like there was many moments last night from the game that really set the Yankees apart from definitely not even going to be like competitive in this one. And it starts with Phil Nevin, the third base coach.
See ya.
What are you doing? Like what in the right mind? Besides Gary Sanchez, I think that Aaron Judge, being his 6'12" guy he is, 290 pounds.
I mean, he could run, but that situation.
He can run, but he's not the one you're like, yeah, this is gonna work. Go. I'm like, no.
In that spot when you're down runs,
right?
You need base runners.
You need those guys. There's golden rules to never be like the third out of
just
third.
Made me sick all over again.
I know, but
you know what was frustrating to watch? Him like storming around the dugout. Like, dude, you can't make up for it. There's not like you see a player that he does something fucked up in the field or he strikes out, and then you see him get angry and he's kind of walking around like he's got that face on, but he could make up for it with his play later in the game. Phil, you can't be like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking really send him next time. Like, you just gotta calm down and do your job.
His crank is gonna be even more. Yeah, like, you know. And I'm like, no, it doesn't work like that, Phil. Sorry,
down,
Phil.
Bro.
Phil, you're gone, Phil. Like, you shouldn't be allowed back on the team bus, Phil. Like, and shout out to Giancarlo Stanton, who crushed that ball to start that little process. But then look how mad he looked when Judge got thrown out.
Straight up screamed.
Straight up, are you fucking kidding? Like, I just did that for this squad, and you ruined it. You ruined it. Oh my God. I mean, there's so many things you could say about this Yankee team.
Boone.
Well,
That's the first thing we got to say.
Yeah, I mean, it's in a situation now. Is Boone done in New York?
Yes.
Now, here's where we're at with this. Much like the Mets just did, they basically said, we're not bringing back Rojas, right? But there was no like, you're fired, you suck, get out of town, right? There was none of that. Boone's contract is up. So there won't be a firing of sorts. It will be the terminology and the phrasing will be, won't be brought back, right? So that at least paints a better picture that the Yankees manager wasn't fired, because the Yankees don't want that PR. They don't. They don't want to be like, oh, we had to fire our manager this week because he sucked, right? His contract's up. Now what do you do?
I think that would be great PR.
What? Making a statement and firing him?
Yes, that's what the fans
That's not
want.
the Yankee way.
Oh,
It's not the
since
Yankee way.
when?
It's not the Yankee way. That Girardi breakup was not screw you, Girardi, you're
Bro,
out.
Billy Martin got fired.
That was
11,
Billy Martin.
11
Billy Martin got
times
fired
in one
6
season.
times.
One season.
Right? Like, all right,
So-
come on back.
So like the Yankees will definitely fire you if
It just doesn't seem like the MO anymore.
look,
In the
they're not going to
culture that
fire a
we're
guy
in,
whose contract
the
is up.
temperature of the
Technically,
room.
they have to re-sign him. I could never envision a day right now where, and I know I said the other day that I think that Boone did keep his job, but after watching yesterday's game and seeing the glaring deficiencies in just the team overall, someone's got to go.
Mhm.
And you can't cut all these players. The guys that are gonna go due to free agency, we kind of want back. At least I do with Rizzo and Gallo. You would agree, right?
100%. You need those lefty bats.
Someone's got to take the fall here. It can't be Cashman. You agree with that as well, right?
He's the one who made the genius moves.
His moves are the things
why,
that-
why it took him this long to add left-handed bats is beyond me.
That's
but
another story.
That's
as
another
well.
story, right?
But somebody's got to take the fall. Aaron Boone's contract is up. They can't bring him back. I don't envision a day where the Yankees are like, you know what? We're going to bring Aaron Boone back for 4 more years and give him $20 million or whatever the fuck he's making a year.
That's where lies the issue. Like, can you envision a meeting of the minds between either ownership and Cashman and Boone in one room and say, hey, we're going to give you this money now. How about you lead us to the promised land? Here's where I read today.
also
Ready
don't
for this?
see the lame duck season happening either. They're not going to give him a 1 more year deal, which you see in some
It's
cases.
so hard
you
to
had
determine.
5 years to prove your shit. You didn't prove it. You don't need a 6th.
So we said it yesterday. If they do re-sign him, it will be the first Yankees manager in 100 years to get a 5th year without bringing us a title, right? I just checked today. Cora, the Boston Red Sox manager, is 12-3 in postseason play as the Red Sox manager, right? So that's relatively good, right? He's a good manager.
It's a World Series and a playoff win.
Aaron Boone,
11 wins.
11-11. He's a 500 coach in the playoffs. That don't fly when you're in the Bronx and you have the pageantry that is New York.
You watched the game. We watched the game yesterday together.
Yeah.
I think I might have said it. I said the glaring, just look at the two of their body language. You look over in the Red Sox dugout and Alex Cora looks like a really good baseball manager. Aaron Boone just sat there with a befuddled, dumb look on his face at the top of the dugout. Like,
just completely lost. Just like chewing his gum, spitting his tobacco, whatever the hell he was doing.
Another thing I take exception with fucking Aaron Boone. It's the 3rd inning. You're down 3. Judge is up, and you're on an interview in the middle of the game.
Well, that always happens in between innings.
I don't. No.
That's not happening live.
Are you sure?
I promise you, it's not.
I'm pretty sure that there was something said in that where it was like, maybe I'm wrong. Either
I don't
way,
think
that's
those
the
things
most-
are ever live. I think it's in between innings, and then they just air them as the game.
Then
is
I'll give
played.
him the pass. I did have a couple beers last night. So.
But in regards to that, though, that's any sport. I don't like when you attack whoever, the manager, the head coach of a football team, like at halftime. Like your team's down 21-0 at half. The last thing you want is a microphone shoved up your face saying, "Hey, what went wrong?" I don't know, Susan. Everything. You know what I mean? And just walk away. Like that's the most annoying thing in the world. And it's just another outlet for ESPN to be like, hey, look at us. We got coverage inside the dugout. What's next? Bugging the dugout for extra clips that they can use for their B-roll? I don't, you know what I mean? Like it's bad news, dude. Bad news.
I'm sick.
It's gross. It's absolutely gross. But
I can't even process the things that you're saying to me about that right now because I just ran through a couple situations in my head from yesterday's game that just the home runs that weren't. It makes me absolutely nauseous.
Shout out to our boy John Sterling. Bro, It is high. It is far. It is God.
Bro, I knew-
Giancarlo Stantonian blast.
Look, it's
Wait a
gotta
minute.
It's got to be it.
What did I do? What did he say? What did I do?
Wait,
Or where did I go wrong?
What did I see wrong?
What did I? Dude, are you
He's
kidding?
on first base.
Oh my God! Right? Dude, he said that. I was like, obviously we're watching the television, but that was immediately hit the interwebs. That he was just a befuddled buffoon. Didn't know what was. Oh, but what did that? That's it. But what did I do wrong? Scoop was here last night. I was like, oh my God! Like you literally thought that cleared the fence.
Okay, so Boone
And you were like in your home run trot.
So Boone's done. Nevin's done. John Sterling's got to go. He's done.
Gotta
Who
go.
else is done? Who else is done?
I don't-
Garrett Cole. I wish Garrett Cole could be
I'll
done.
tell you who's going to be who's in consideration to be done. This might sound like a big, not a blockbuster, but Chapman. They can save a lot of money by getting rid of him. You know, they got to pay. I mean, I know baseball's guaranteed money. I get that point, but like they could. There's more wiggle room to do other things if you don't have to pay his salary on the books. If it's dead money and it's guaranteed
Well,
shit,
they would
that's
just
different.
have to get something back for him, but I don't.
Or
know
they
that
could
there's
trade him,
any-
right? Or they could trade
It's
him.
weird
Because I tell you right now who the future closer should be of this team is Jonathan Loaisiga.
Yeah,
100%.
The problem that the Yankees have when they're trading their star players, a guy like a Chapman, if let's say the Brewers were like, oh, we're going to trade Chapman, they would be able to get a haul for him. But when the Yankees want to trade Chapman, teams are like, fuck you. You know, like we're not giving you shit. We know why you want to get rid of him. So it's a different situation. Like
Definitely.
you can pay him. They hold, I guess they hold the Yankees to a higher standard when it comes to trading for stars. Very
Yeah.
frustrating, but it is what it is.
Frustrating indeed, and the Yankees season is over. So the you know it just and there's the biggest comment right here. I'll bring it up. If the Yankees took care of business over the weekend, would have had home field, believe that we would have been indifferent. Stanton would have had 3 home runs in the Bronx. That's a true thing. You let your foot off the gas in that last weekend. You sucked, as Janine Machado always says. Who's sucking now? It's them on that last weekend, and that is the reason why we had to go to Beantown and just get pummeled into dust. And now it's over. That's it. Like,
All right, yeah. Speaking of it being over, and that's it. Cards, Dodgers.
All right. So look, there
I
is
can't
more
do baseball.
There is more baseball to be played. And there's Hater. How about that? Whatchamacallit? So there is more baseball to be played, and it is tonight. The Los Angeles Dodgers taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. The Dodgers winning 106 games over the course of this season. They now have to battle for a wild card spot. You want to hear something really crazy, which I saw today? The Dodgers are still favored to win the World Series, and they got to play this game. And they got to play this game. Mind numbing. Like what? You know, like, how is that even a thing? I will say this
Isn't
about
Scherzer pitching tonight.
sure.
Game's over.
Yeah, well, whatever. And then after that is who? You know what I mean? Like murderers row of pitching. But there was a specific Dodger player that broke his silence yesterday on Instagram. I don't know if you saw this. Trevor Bauer came out, said hello to the masses. He started to talk about the fact that, like, hey, you know, everything's false. One thing that just got thrown out. Like, I can't talk about this one. I can't talk about that one. I can't talk about all my legal stuff. But I will say this. I want to talk about the playoffs. So now he's going to drop like new Instagram videos critiquing the playoffs. Like, so he's just like living his life, carrying on.
Go home, Trevor.
I think it's,
Time
yeah,
to-
I
time
don't
to
know. If
Shut
this
the
is,
fuck up.
I don't know if this is a smart move on behalf of Trevor Bauer.
It's not the time.
Well, he just wants to stay relevant in the hottest time for baseball.
Yeah, but what he should really want to do, I mean, I guess
Clear his goddamn name. That's what he really should do.
if he wants to pitch for a major league team again, he should shut his mouth because that's his
Correct.
only path back to baseball. It's just kind of play ball figuratively because he can't right now.
Right. So you have a prediction as far as tonight, and I'll get you, since tonight is technically the last little play-in game that they do, and then you have the playoffs starting. Boston winning last night. You think there's any promise for them to even remotely compete with Tampa Bay, or you think Tampa Bay is just going to kind of wipe the floor with them?
Yeah, Tampa's too good.
So Tampa takes care of
I don't
Boston.
think Boston's a good team.
So that was their World Series.
I think the Yankees are just a bad team.
in regards, like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So
I'm
prediction.
not talking anymore American League. Can't do it.
All right. So the
Not today,
National
at
League.
least.
Who do you think is going to come out of the National League tonight? The Dodgers.
Dodgers.
Dodgers
It's
are going to
be
win.
a 17-game winning streak just to go home. But
Oh, that was the team that went on that
The
run.
Cards.
I thought it was the.
the Cardinals,
I thought it was the Brewers. I don't know why. I don't know.
yeah, the Cardinals got real hot.
So the Cardinals got real hot towards the end of the season, and then all of a sudden they're just gonna hit the brakes, and they run into a buzzsaw known as the Dodgers. So I like the Dodgers tonight too. So
That's our NL wildcard preview.
All right, we'll talk more about it tomorrow. But let's take a little break. There's actually a lot more stuff to go over. Big stuff happening in the NFL last night, right in the middle of the Yankee game last night. I got the greatest news that I possibly could have gotten in long time for being a Cowboys fan. But we'll get into that after the break.
You know, myself and Gooch are both getting a little older. One of the first things to go is your vision. Thank goodness for our hookup over at Absolute Eyewear in Woodbridge, New Jersey, right on Main Street next to the train station. They have glasses for all ages, all budgets. They have safety glasses, sports glasses. They are a full-service powerhouse offering eye exams and even free lenses for the kids. They work with BCBS, AAA, AARP, giving massive discounts. They're open 5 days a week, closed on Wednesdays and Sundays. Call 732-326-3937 to get your first pair of Ray-Ban, Burberry, Coach, Polo, you name it, they got it. Go see Craig and Janine right now.
All right, we want to thank Craig and Janine over at Absolute Eyewear. Go check those guys out. They're offering all the coolest, greatest glasses you could possibly get as far as sporting glasses, goggles. You heard the commercial. Go check those guys out. And shout out to Janine for making this Yankee season at least entertaining by saying how much they actually sucked throughout the whole course of the season. Baseball season is over, says Jay Devlin. Yes, Jay. It is over. We're no longer talking about baseball anymore. We have another comment coming in. Boone has to go get Beltran before the Mets do or trade for Mattingly. Do you think the Mets would actually go back after Beltran?
Yes, the same way that the Red Sox went back after Alex Cora.
Interesting. That is interesting.
He served his time. His suspension is up or whatever. Did Beltran even get suspended?
Yeah. Well, he got fired.
Well, he got fired.
But I guess
so they wanted to get out in front of that whole
Yes,
situation.
yeah.
So I would say Beltran is definitely a good candidate. I wouldn't want him on the Yankees because of all the bullshit, but I'll take AJ Hinch.
I know you. So because, all right, redo that whole sentence. I don't want Carlos Beltran on the team, but I will take AJ Hinch.
Yes, because I think he's he's a proven cheater. That's also a good manager. Like, I don't want a proven cheater that we don't know how good of a manager he is.
All right. Big news happening last night and this morning. Two things breaking down in the NFL. Last night, midway through the game, I get a text, or no, somebody said it. Was it you?
What?
Did
I said Jalen Smith cut, and you were like, no, he's not.
I'm
up.
like, nah, stop.
Like, no.
And it's true. The Cowboys have moved on from Jalen Smith. And here, for me, this is a little bit rewarding. Because I, for one, well, that's not true at all. So this guy, whoever this is, they released him because of how good Parsons is. No room. He's a good player. He'll get picked up. That's not true. That's not true as to why he got cut.
Which is the statement that's not true. He's not a good player.
Well, that too. He's not a good player. Jalen Smith, a couple weeks back after the Tampa Bay game, I did a video in which it was just me breaking down Jalen Smith's 16 snaps. That's all he got in the first game. And each one of these 16 snaps were abysmal, right? He had one or two where he was in coverage, didn't do much. That tweet that I sent out blew up, and everybody was like, "Are you kidding? Can you do another player's breakdown? Do somebody else. Don't just pick on Jalen." And I'm like, I'm only picking on Jalen Smith because Jalen Smith is no longer capable of being a good linebacker in the NFL, and that's only because of his injury. It caught up to him. Like, he had the one good year where he was looking a little faster, might have been, he's obviously younger at the time. It's not, he's just, his football mechanics are no longer good. He can't read a defense worth the shit. He's not a good linebacker.
So the Giants going to sign him.
So the Giants are absolutely going to sign this
Blake
guy.
Martinez with Jalen Smith on Cowboy Week.
And Jason Garrett's influence over there. That could be a thing. And if Jalen Smith goes to the Giants, he's going to go there with all his little, I know all the secrets.
Imagine if he ever read the playbook, though.
I know.
So it wouldn't even matter. You don't know what he's
Jalen Smith, to me.
He was calling plays the other day.
Yes.
Jalen Smith was like the captain on the team.
He was
on the field. He was getting the signals from the sideline, and he was.
Well, that's just putting the green dot on your helmet. That's just mean you're relaying the signals. You might know how to articulate better than you.
That's why I was shocked, more so than anything.
The play of Micah Parsons and the play of Keanu Neal when he was on the field for a couple of weeks before the whole COVID thing. The play, Leighton Vander Esch is playing well. They brought in Keanu Neal in particular to play linebacker, and now with Parsons playing a little bit of hybrid where he's coming off the edge sometimes. Not a lot last week, which is like bugging me out. I was like, why wouldn't you just continue to have him on the edge? But for as far as Jalen's position was concerned, his snap count was down. I read a couple nuggets today.
I'm curious to know that if there's something else, if it's not a football thing, if it's not a contract thing.
Well, it's
there's
definitely
like,
a contract
and there's like
thing.
a combination of all these things, and it's like, and then you had to go and say or do this.
So here's what happened.
They're keeping in-house.
According to Jane Slater, who covers the Cowboys like nobody else, right? So I read about today. It's a contract thing. Obviously, he was owed $7 million more for this year and owed $9 million next year. So the $9 million is the savings. The $7 million they're going to have to eat this year, right? Because NFL guaranteed money, no dice. Here's the nugget that I discovered today. The Cowboys offered Jalen Smith, or not an offer, basically said, "Hey, listen, we're gonna guarantee you all this good shit, right? Next year's salary, all this stuff. You just have to sign this injury waiver. Basically, if you get injured, we don't owe you anything." Jalen Smith said, Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. What if I get injured? You know, what if I the Cowboys are like, awesome, no worries, man. You're gone.
I mean,
That's business.
I also don't blame him for saying
Of course
no.
not. Of course not. He's a human being who's making money. Don't get it twisted. You
So
have
how
to
much
say
of a
no.
cap hit? 7
7-2
mil?
this year and none next year. But not now next year they save 9.
So they saved 9. That's why I have a hard time understanding that it's only a contract thing, because why get rid of your depth? You understand what it's like in the NFL, you know.
I mean, again, there's
So there has to
emerging
be something-
guys on
yeah.
this team. You say depth, they have Jabril Cox, who hasn't played any games yet. They have Francis Bernard. They have guys that are on the practice squad that people are waiting for to wait and see develop.
It's a long
This
season.
guy didn't fit, and this is what I said about this whole defense this entire time. If you're not a Dan Quinn guy, and you're not a Dan Quinn like a guy he can mold into his defense, you're not going to play, and that's what happened. Van Der Esch might be next, not to get cut, but they already did that this offseason. They said, Leighton, bro, we're not picking up your 5th-year option. We're not. You're gone, right? So now Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith, the 2 starting linebackers for the Dallas Cowboys last year, will not be playing on the Dallas Cowboys next year. That's nuts. To me, that's nuts, because it's like,
That's the NFL, though.
it is the NFL. It's a business. And what they did was they ensured that they have a future. Micah Parsons is as advertised. Okay. He is lights out, could be defensive rookie of the year 4 games into the year. Right. So they have him. They got they situated with the Neal situation. Like, they got Jabril Cox. They got Leighton Van Der Esch for this year. Their linebacking core is set. Now, Jalen Smith was a liability every time, and now he's not there anymore. So whoever does pick him up.
Yeah, that was my
Good
next
luck.
question. Outside of the Giants, because there's going to
I
be
have a feeling, I got this inkling deep down in my stomach that he's a Chief. I don't know why. There's a lot of Dallas Cowboys who left wound up in Kansas City. I don't know what the correlation is up there or why it happens, but it could happen. The Colts come to mind. Teams that just need a linebacker right now. But when I say need a linebacker, they need depth on the linebacker. They don't need a starting linebacker, because he's not a starting linebacker in this league anymore. But I digress. There's only so much you can say about Jalen Smith. The Cowboys will be fine. I think the Cowboys actually made a move last night that showed balls. You're not good enough for us. We're going to go on a run here. You don't belong. That's it. Goodbye. Jalen.
Now
Goodbye.
let's see if the Cowboys have real big balls and they actually make a push on the next guy that we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
Stephon Gilmore cut.
I woke up to that news today. It was really early in the morning. Stephon Gilmore was cut. Now, listen, he was on the PUP, so he wasn't even active on any roster. I mean, at any moment, he was not active. He wasn't going to be allowed to be active until week 7, and that still stands, because not anymore, because he's not on anybody's list, because he's gone. But the Patriots ran out of patience. They parted ways, and I'm very, very surprised at this move. If the Patriots thought that they were going to be a team to compete this year, I just don't. I don't really understand the move. I know his price tag is very high right now. I think he's gonna want like $15 million, right? He's not gonna get that. Not this year. Do you think there's any team in the NFL right now that is willing to drop the bag on Stephon Gilmore right now?
I think that his agents are going to advise him to go ring chase this season, right?
Mhm.
Finish out a season on a contender, do work in the postseason, and build your price tag back up. Obviously, you're talking like there's a PUP situation going on. I think that's
Well, there's not anymore, because
well, he was injured, so there's an injury thing that's happening with Gilmore. I think that's all bullshit. I think that's what they were doing because they didn't want him around. He wasn't going to play for that team. He pretty much was holding out at the same time, right? So that was just a bad relationship.
They tried
and a bad
trading him.
situation. They tried
Didn't
trading
happen.
him. The NFL, all the executives around the league knew The Patriots have no leverage here. He's not playing for them. So just wait a day or two. And if you want a chance at him, then you'll be able to sign him.
Is it going to be? Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to ask, where do you think he's going to go? Tampa?
There's a lot of people that are already calling Tampa the destination. If he's chasing the ring, right? If he's chasing the championship,
it's going to be a contender.
It's going to be a contender this year. He's not going to go sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to sign for the money this year. He's going to sign for the ring, and then the bag gets delivered to him next year for a long-term deal for whoever he's with.
When we were looking at these teams, a lot of teams that are good need a corner.
Well, your boys are banged up now.
Jair Alexander might miss significant time. I'm waiting on the news to hear what's going on with his shoulder. Najee Harris punished him, even though it was a good hit. It just, he got the worst end of that one. So Jair might be out a while. I hope Green Bay makes a push for him. Devontae Adams tweeted out to him and
already
he's trying to recruit him into town, but I know better. Green Bay's front office isn't going to make that move. They never do that. Specifically, if he's looking for anything long-term, there's no way we're going to sign him long-term. But if there's a chance that we could get him for a season, you know, they're doing the last dance in Green Bay. It would be nice to have him join the squad, come to prom, you know.
He'll be on the documentary when it's all said and done.
Baltimore,
and then in week 5.
I think Baltimore is a legit possibility.
They need help too.
As well, because the injuries. It's going to be a team that's a contender that just lost a corner. Look, Tampa Bay, they lost Sean Murphy Bunting.
Mm-hmm.
Was that against Dallas week 1?
Yeah.
Right? Broken arm. I think he's done for extended periods of time. So,
and they signed Richard Sherman, and he looks like he's on skates. He doesn't look good. I mean, he hasn't played football in a while, so maybe he'll get his legs under him. But Sherman don't look like a great acquisition for Tampa right now. Yeah. So they might still need that to address that.
But if Sherman signed for $2.5 million for the rest of the way,
this guy's going to get.
You got to imagine that Gilmore is going to get paid a little bit more. I don't think he's going to get 10. That's a little steep, but something around like 7 or 8.
Well, I will say, you say that he'll go to a team that just lost a corner. The Dallas Cowboys didn't lose any corners, right? They just need another corner. Like Trayvon Diggs just wins NFC Defensive Player of the Week.
I think Dallas will probably throw their hat in there.
They have to.
I just don't think that they're going to be able to.
I won't buy into the front office if they say, like, they beat it in Cowboys media heads, saying that talent acquisition is a 365, 24/7 operation, meaning at all times they're always looking to get better. If the Dallas Cowboys, and I tweeted this out, on my Twitter this morning, I said if the Dallas Cowboys really consider themselves able to make some kind of run this year, and I'm not saying they couldn't, because look, the Cowboys started off 3-0 a couple of years ago, and I thought, I might as well book my flight to Miami because we're going to Super Bowl. They're 3-1 right now. Things look good. The rest of the NFC East looks bad, so it's like, maybe this is the year you definitely know in your head we're at least going to get into the dance, right? And then what happens after that? But if you add a Stephon Gilmore opposite of Trayvon Diggs, I mean, come on. Like it's a dream, but I every time something like this happens, I always say, oh, well, you should go to the Cowboys. The guy's going to go to the Cowboys. This one makes the most sense that I've seen.
I do think he's going to be in Baltimore. If I had to make my one prediction, Tampa seems like the likely destination because that's what but Baltimore, I think, is low key been involved on everyone. For your sake or mine, I hope it's Dallas or Green Bay.
It would be nice. It would be nice, but it's just very shocking stuff. It's very shocking stuff to do this week 5 into the NFL season where teams are still getting their feet under them. Teams are still trying to figure it out. But maybe these are the corresponding moves that teams make where they're like, okay, look, this guy's not in our future plans anymore. He wants out. He's said that a million times over. So let's just get it done. Let's just get it done and cut our losses now. And now you don't have to pay Gilmore any more money. It's over. But both of these players, both Jaylon Smith and Gilmore, will probably land on a contender. That's where I don't foresee these guys going to a team that's struggling right now, like a Detroit or a Jacksonville or teams that just can't get out of their own way. I don't foresee that happening at all. I see Jaylon Smith as a depth kind of guy. It would be brutal to me to hurt my heart. I think it would be karma, which I know you don't believe in, karma for Jaylon Smith to go to the New York Giants. I think that's a possibility, only for the sole purpose of Jason Garrett's over there, has the influence. They just lost Blake Martinez. They do need somebody. They need somebody that might be familiar with the NFC East. This guy is, as much as I say he doesn't know the playbook, which I don't think he does, like he does know these teams. He knows the tendencies. That makes most sense for me for Jaylon Smith. As far as Gilmore is concerned, I got to say that he goes to a team that will, it's like middle of the road. Like, a team that'll pay him more than what a Sherman got, right? Which is only 2.5 for Sherman. So this my price tag for Gilmore right now at its max should be about $8 million for the rest of this year. And then next year he can double that, sign wherever the hell he wants, and do his own thing, get his bag that way. I don't foresee that happening anywhere else outside the teams that we listed. You know, you say Baltimore, we said the Bucks, the Cowboys, the Packers.
You could make the case that maybe one other team. Did we say the Chiefs?
I said the Chiefs about Jalen, but I didn't say.
So I think
they're the
there's a
worst defense in the
possibility they have
league.
No defense. They need the help. But if I'm Gilmore, I'm like, I'm not going to go fix that defense. You know, I'm just going to be another part of the bad defense. It's not. They have no pass rush. They have no.
Yeah, because honestly,
tackling.
one cornerback doesn't make the defense. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I know it looks like that in Dallas since Trayvon Diggs has more interceptions than any other team in the NFL right now. So that's a true fact. But again, these are the things that we will contemplate. But at as of 4 p.m. today, they'll become unrestricted free agents to be. You know, all the moves go official. So actually, the Cowboys and the Patriots have from right now when we're recording 11:30 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon to still actually work out a trade. If somebody wants to trade for these guys, they're able to be traded. They're still technically on the roster until 4 o'clock. So if a team wants to swoop in and say, hey, listen, Gilmore's the guy, we'll give you 2 1s, man. And give me everything he's got right now. That could be a thing. I don't think it's going to be a thing, but it could be. It's
especially
a possibility.
after they just released him.
No, they didn't release him yet.
I know, but like
They're
it's
calling
like
for his release
there's
because they can't work out a trade.
Once you get to the point where you're at the point that they're at now, you lose all your leverage. They called every team in the league before they released him. Definitely.
Because nobody wants to take on what he's making. So that's another thing. All right. So one more order of business, and it's because it's getting crazier. And shout out to the graphic maker, Chris Gucci, for this one because it is phenomenal. The Urban Meyer mess continues, and that is Tebow crying over his shoulder. I feel bad for even making or allowing this meme to hit the airwaves, but it's really funny. But Urban Meyer today or yesterday issued an apology to his team based off of his actions the other night, where he's getting, he's photographed dancing with a chick and get the video, and he's blah blah blah. We all know what he's done. We all know the story. He issues the apology to the team. The owners are pissed. They said it's going to take some time to regain the trust. Blah blah blah. But it's like
there was
he's
comments,
4 games
there was
in.
Comments coming out from the players saying that he lost all his whatever credibility he had, and he barely had any to begin with. So that's a player. You know, he apparently didn't meet with the team at all. He met with position groups at a time. So it would be like the receivers would come in, and it wasn't even all of the position groups. So it was just like there was some guys on the team that never even heard a word from him yet.
Right.
As of yesterday. I don't know what has come out today. If he did, in fact,
he said he met with the team.
But no, it's supposedly what I read was that he didn't actually meet with the team. He just met with a couple people, a few leaders, and one of the guys laughed right in his face and was like, So it's bad in Jacksonville right now. Break down the timeline of what he's actually done.
Yeah, please, because this is incredible.
We got Hard Knocks. First, he came in and he wrote a letter to HBO and the league trying to get on Hard Knocks, even though the Jags didn't fit the criteria to be a member of the Hard Knocks.
Which is phenomenal. So basically, hey, NFL Films, can you please film me doing my thing?
He was one of three teams fined, got the Jaguars fined for breaking all the practice rules, all the CBA things that they signed way back when. So he was fined a bunch of money.
On a roll.
He made Trevor Lawrence split reps for the entire camp with a guy that he ended up trading for a 6th-round pick. Now you're stunting the growth of the guy that you took first overall. He's the best quarterback prospect since Andrew Luck. When you draft a guy like that and you have a guy like Minshew, you don't give Minshew the reps. I thought that from the rip, and then ultimately turn around and get rid of Minshew, the guy that you thought might be worth starting over the number 1 pick overall for a 6th-rounder. Terrible, right? You draft Travis Etienne. You don't need a running back. The next day, you come out and say openly that, I was looking to get Kadarius Toney with that pick, but he was picked already. Like, so you're already just
you're really
fucking
good.
Up the relationship.
He's a PR gold mine.
Oh yeah, and then
Tim
Tebow, and then no Tim Tebow.
Oh, and then he signs Tim Tebow, and then he cuts Christ himself. And now look, if this ain't, I know you don't buy karma. I know you don't understand, and you don't think anything of this stuff.
Oh yeah,
but you cut Tim Tebow, and now your life just plummeted. Coincidence?
And one more thing.
I think not.
One more thing. He openly admitted that the Jaguars were releasing players due to not being vaccinated. Like, wait, what? Do what you want, but just don't
Holy
admit it to the
shit.
media.
This guy is on fire, and now he might get fired. Like, it's just, dude, it's if this team was 2-2, right, or even 1-3 at this point, where they have the young team, they're trying to get their feet wet, things, blah 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 blah. They're like, all right, well, look, he's going through a lot, right? The team is 0-4. You took your 0-4 mentality, went to a club, drank, pulled the Mrs. Doubtfire, as I said yesterday on the show, basically went to the club, went to the place with your family, then went to the bar, said, everybody, guys, go home. It's all good. We're good. It's going to be,
yeah, but I also,
you know what? I'll take an Uber.
I don't believe that for a split second. There was
What?
some type of celebration. He used that as an excuse as to why he stayed back. He just used that so the media didn't trash him. It's like, oh, I stayed back with my grandkids. None of that was true. He's a complete liar, scumbag from the gate, right? The girl put out on like her Snapchat, the girl that was dancing on him, said something like, who is this guy? He keeps on flirting with me. Urban Meyer was the one that got dragged out onto the dance floor. He looked very comfortable to me. A little too comfortable.
Urban cowboy, bro. Dude, this guy is, oh man, he is the definition. This is where it does bother me though, a little bit. You know, I don't want to go too far into this because it's just like, it's such a bad story. But like,
I just think it's funny.
it's hilarious. It is hilarious to an extent. What he's doing to his family, not hilarious, right? Being a piece of shit to his whole crew around him, not good. But I will say this about Urban Meyer. You are the epitome of, like, when you're an NFL head coach, that your job is to be sometimes a father figure to these young men, right?
Well,
Some of these guys
put it
don't
this
grow
way.
up with a dad.
Here's where in some ways I disagree with this. In the NFL, they're getting paid too much money you got to like just be their coach. And I think that's where the problem is. He's trying to like sun them a little bit. And they're like, dude, I'm 31. Fucking shut up. Do what I want.
I'll beat
No,
you up
I
right
have
here.
more money than you, but he doesn't because Urban Meyer is stinky rich at this point. For all the times that he fleeced every university he's ever gone to and all the boosters. How many actual dirty things do you think Urban Meyer has that we
baby.
don't know about?
Oh man, there's got to be a laundry list. It has to be. One day we're going to find out. Like, by the way, folks, at Ohio State, you're not going to believe this. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to find out things down the line that Urban Meyer was a big POS before he got to Jacksonville.
Makes no sense to me is the relationship that him and Jesus Christ himself have. Like Urban Meyer, I look at him and I'm like, I just don't trust anything you'll ever say, ever. Where it's like you could, you know, like you have an angel and the devil on your shoulder. And it's like Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer is Satan in football terms.
Seems like it. Seems like he's messing around and he's, you know.
But at least he's making everybody look right. Like everybody's now right because everybody called this.
This is true. This is true. There was a lot of people that went out there and said, like, this guy's a piece of garbage. And I'm like, well, you know, let's see if it works out. You know what I mean? Like, let's give it a whirl.
I know you saw it because we talked about it yesterday.
What?
He really, Nick Shine. Shout out to Nick Shine.
What did he say?
He was like, oh man, as soon as that USC job became available, he attacked the bar.
Listen,
he's trying to get out.
Have you not seen crazier things? This could very well be the ploy. That USC job opens up and he's like, I'm going to grab every ass in this room and see which one I get caught doing it. You know what I mean? Like, and then all of a sudden, like, dude, you're a bad luck. You're fired. I'm like, I can't believe you did this to me. What up, Trojans? You know, like, and then bang, he's got another job within a heartbeat. The guy doesn't belong in the NFL. He's not a role model for any of these
have the
younger
number
kids.
one recruiting class in the country.
100%.
All of a sudden.
Oh my God. Like all the dads of the world that are sending their kids to college, like, you're going to go play for Urban Meyer at the University of South California. You know what I mean? Like, go get him. But look, Meyer is in a shit state right now. He's not in a good way. And yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. Well, we got this comment from Scoop. Jags ownership is so bad that Shad was like, fire you now. We'll give you a promotion. Right. He's going to be the GM starting tomorrow. He's going to be the one signing the players. But look, dude. Bad situation for Urban Meyer. I don't know if it gets cleaned up. If they lose this week, this is my prediction. I said this yesterday when we were talking about it. If the Jaguars go to 0-5 and they get handled by the Titans, if they lose on a last-second field goal, not what I'm saying. If the Jaguars get handled this week, Urban Meyer's fired Sunday. Done. Interim head coach.
I agree.
Do it.
That he gets fired if they don't win. But even if they do win, like, what is they? Should
You
he
know
still
why?
be
Though?
fired?
You know why, Gooch? Because winning solves a lot of problems. It does. And as bad as that is,
I feel like
if they
at
win a
this
game,
point, winning a game is counterproductive to their rebuild.
but the rebuild's over. The rebuild was supposed to start
Who are
this
they playing?
the Titans.
Oh, they're dead.
No shit. But that's what I'm saying. If
Titans
Henry
ain't
goes
losing that
off
game.
and runs for 220 yards, and 3 touchdowns, Urban Meyer might not get on the team bus. It might be over. It might be like, yo, you know what, dude?
Well, he didn't get on the team bus last week either, Dave.
Hi-oh! Good job. Good. Wait, that's very well played. But yeah, so Urban Meyer's screwed. The Jaguars look to be screwed. Is what it is. But programming note, as far as all of the podcasts on the network, we're seeing a lot of growth. Be sure to support all of our guys. We got new episodes of Chart Choppers today. Alan Austin is a very entertaining dude. Help this guy out, okay? Because look, there's times where he always questions, like, is my show good enough to be on the Chop Sports Network? It absolutely is. It's actually really funny. And he has great takes on all of these countdown shows. A countdown show. Who doesn't like a countdown show? I know we kicked around the idea of a countdown show, and then we found Alan. So go check out Chart Choppers. It dropped today. Also, we dropped today the Goddamn Jets podcast with Kim Cantoni, Max Antonucci, John Saponaro. Those guys are celebrating their first win as a Jets fan base. So that's upbeat. Go check those guys out. Joe Matarese, I believe, dropped a podcast today. Jimmy Palumbo show is out there today. Who else we got today?
Chopheads MMA.
Chopheads MMA just got published with yours truly. That's right. I'm on a mixed martial arts podcast. Hey, Ma, look, I made it. So I'm on that podcast with Tommy D and Chris Gucci. And of course, today the Mets are recording. They'll probably say their final goodbyes for the season. But I know they're going to continue their podcast, maybe just like a bi-weekly thing, I think.
Is that what it's gonna
I don't
be?
know. We'll talk to them today because how much baseball can you talk into like the winter meetings and stuff, and the World Series is over, and there's just multiple things. There's layers to that. And then I think that's it as far as the podcast lineup is concerned. Guys, do me also a favor. Do some research. We're still talking to HaterFantasySports.com. Last week, we had a great contest. We had a guy win. He donated, Hawaii Mike donated his whole entire winnings, the $200 to St. Jude for this special month that, all the cancer research and the NFL does their part. We're trying to do ours over here. So go do that as well. And that's really it. And of course, thank you to Flipping Made Easy for the studio, of course. And of course, all of our sponsors at Chop Sports. Be sure to check out the website, chopsportsmedia.com. For all of your merchandise. What I'm wearing right now, you probably can't see it, but it is a brand new Chop Sports hoodie. We redid the hoodies, right? Chris, you're the merch guy. So we redid the hoodies. They're not gilded anymore. And I'm not just saying this because I have it and I own it. I wore it 2 days in a row. So I probably should wash it now. But it is the most comfortable hoodie I've ever
Honestly,
worn. Ever.
That's open for debate. I don't know if you have to wash your hoodie every time you wear it.
It's not like I sweat
certainly
profusely.
don't.
I know. So it's almost like a zip up, but it's not. You know what I mean? But anyway, real comfortable stuff.
Jeans.
I don't watch the
Am I
jeans all
going
the time
too far
either.
here?
No.
Am I just dirty?
Are we just getting stenchy out here in the studio?
No,
So
yeah, hoodies, jeans, underwear, socks. You don't have to.
yeah,
wash that stuff.
right. Just hang them out the dryer. Spray a little. You're good to go. All right. So for Sturch and Gooch, this has been another episode of the Chop Sports Daily. We want to thank you guys for joining us today. Tomorrow, what we're doing is it's Thursday. Thursday Night Football is here. Week 5 is among us. It's the Seattle Seahawks and the Los Angeles Rams. So that's going to be a hell of a game. I got to play some softball tonight. I got to go play for the Health and Fitness Professionals. Horrible softball team that was constructed with basically no players, no talent. I got to go save the day. And who better, right, than me to save the day? And then we got another game tomorrow night. But Thursday Night Football, we'll talk about your fantasy lineups tomorrow. So I'm cruising into a loss, and I'm going against the hottest team in my league. So I'm definitely going to need some answers.
I'm stumbling along in some leagues.
Fantasy football ain't easy, folks. It's not easy at all. So
along.
we'll set your lineups tomorrow. We'll talk about some Thursday Night Football. We'll talk about what happened with the Dodgers and see if they move on, which all signs point to yes. But if they don't, it will be probably one of the biggest collapses since the Mets of 2021. For Sturch and Gooch, this has been another episode of the Chop Sports Daily, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
I haven't eaten in 84 hours. I'm starting to get faint.
Yeah, do
squeamish.
it. I said faint yesterday. You made fun of me.
Well, you were being soft yesterday, Dave.
Okay.
Also, Will Fuller, IR.
Oh, okay.